Good morning, John. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Sergey.
Actually, it's not morning anymore. It's 4 o'clock. So it's a good day. Because usually we do interviews in the morning.
Got it.
But today just was busy. It's a Mother's Day today in the school. So in both schools. So it was just busy day. But now we're doing our afternoon interview. And hopefully there is no wind. Because the wind can ruin this all. But for now it's good. So I want to say good morning to everybody there. I bought a new camera for all of you who complained about the sound. So this is inauguration of new camera. I hope that works well and serve
Fingers crossed.
the purpose. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, John. So maybe you want to, start from your name, where you're from, what do you do, why did you come to Huachuma Wasi, what brought you here, and kind of move through experience here and just share what you feel like.
Yeah. So my name is John King, from the UK, and I work in digital marketing, content creation online, and actually it was a series of sort of serendipitous events that led me here.
Okay.
I was in Cusco. I was browsing through the bookshop, and I see, I guess it's Morpheus's hands with a red pill and blue pill.
Yeah, it's my latest book.
Yeah, I see your latest book, and I see cryptocurrency, psychedelics, and farming. And I know nothing about farming, but I see the
Me
other
too.
two.
But I support it.
I support it too.
It's the concept. It's an important concept.
Really important. Yeah, yeah. No farmers, no food. So
Exactly.
yeah,
That's exactly right. And then nothing matters. We'll die.
Yeah.
So farmers,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we owe a lot of gratitude to them. So I see.
It's hard work, man.
Yeah.
These guys work, my God. I can farm like for 1 minute. Just like, check some flower there, like maybe dry flower, take it out, that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very hard.
I've tried growing some stuff, and the amount of effort for what I actually get, I'm like, oh my God, I really appreciate what they do.
What they do.
Yeah.
That's why, 100%. Okay.
So in the bookshop, I see this, and I'm like, oh, that sounds really interesting. Let me learn a bit more about this. So I look up your name, find out where you are, and it's not too far away. And I sent an email, and I'm like, hey, I'm interested in meeting you. And you're like, okay, cool, but you're going to be here for 1 week. There's going to be 3 ceremonies. I'm like, okay, I guess so.
Okay.
I'm
ready.
Yeah. I'm open to it, and so I guess maybe some people come here with like a very clear intention from
What they want to do.
what they want to do.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I was a little bit more open. But as the events were unfolding, I came across a book which is around the topic of masculinity, and then so finding that book, and then finding you, and then
At the
going
same
into-
time?
pretty much, yeah, just before. So
Okay.
same
So
sort of
that's
timing.
already kind of brought you, that already become part of the intention,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
to bring that into the medicine.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. And so that became one of 2 big themes throughout the
Work.
process, throughout the
Okay.
work. Yeah. And so it's probably also worth mentioning, I only came here with the intention to stay for a week, and it's been a month. So
Happens all the time.
yeah.
So maybe you want to share like how was the medicine for you? Like what's the experience like for you? For somebody who never, you had other plants before? I don't remember exactly. I think you worked with mushrooms before.
Yeah, mushrooms.
Ayahuasca had?
3 ayahuasca.
3 ayahuasca.
ceremonies. So I
Okay.
did a bit of ayahuasca, and 1 ceremony with San Pedro or Huachuma in Mexico. And after talking to you, you explained maybe that wasn't quite professionals, we'll say.
We just talked with Eugene about this. We were laughing in the ceremony. Maybe you need to talk to him.
Yeah.
See if he went to the same place. I don't know. He also went to Mexico. I think it was. Oh, the guy came from Mexico. Some shaman came from Mexico to Moscow. Give them some powder.
Okay.
Nobody felt anything. It's complete bullshit, So we were laughing about this. And the first ceremony, I asked him like, "How you doing?" Is it like Mexico here?
How does this compare?
Oh my God, he was just laughing. He was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
So I just reminded. I was remembered now by the story.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah, so I think, I guess maybe going into the trip, sort of the medicine experiences, what was very interesting, especially now having done
multiple,
was how much fear came up for me at the start. And I remember talking to you and being curious, like, is this the medicine or is this me? And then realizing, no, this is me. This is what I'm bringing.
The
to
medicine brings it to the surface so you can see it, but it's your fear.
Yeah.
It's not coming from external source. It's you.
Yeah.
And
And so it was very fascinating then to go back to it like 3 weeks later with a bit of a break, and then to see, oh, okay, I can have a very different experience now that I've kind of worked through some of this stuff. So that was very, very
was it
interesting.
still fear later? Like in the last week?
Yes, a little bit. But I want to give what I'm saying some structure.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back a step, and I'm going to mention that there was two main themes for me. And what I'm realizing from this medicine, speaking to other people, is that it's a combined process. So there's the medicine, which is kind of like an adaptogen to some extent. It's going to adapt to the person, or the person's going to adapt to the medicine, or vice versa.
Both?
And so what I experience essentially is going to be very particular to me, but that's all I can describe.
Of
really.
course, it's a subjective experience, meaning you are the subject that experiencing that. It's interesting. I wrote about this in one of my books. It's a subjective experience of objective reality. It's a deep stuff because the reality is objective, but who experiencing that is the subject. You cannot experience objective reality, in any other way. There has to be a person who experiencing reality. So it's a subjective experience, but subjective doesn't mean lesser or inferior. It's subjective because there is a subject of objective reality. Because people have a bad connotation for subjective, meaning just subjective experience. It's just you. It's just like people tend to degrade that. It's like, just subjective. It's not like how it's true. It's just your experience. Maybe my experience is different, and that's true. It will be slightly different to yourself. I mean, according to a person, to your baggage, to everything. But it's still an objective reality that we're experiencing through our person.
Yeah.
So that's just important to note.
No, 100%. Yeah, and so I'll just go back a step. So two main themes came up for me. So one was like masculinity and what that means to me, and then the second one was fear, which we talked about. And so to sort of answer the question you asked before, was there still fear towards the end? There was, but I felt like I had a better framework for how to deal with it. Yeah. Because I mean, it would be great if I could snap my fingers and fear just goes.
That happens later.
Okay, I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah. Just need more meds. More meds.
Okay.
At some point, you don't even do it anymore. At some point, you just whatever, man.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
No,
you
100%.
trust it so much. It's like it so much. It's like man, I don't care. It's all good.
Oh, I think maybe there you're talking about fear in the Huachuma experience.
Yeah, fear of the medicine or fear of life.
So I'm talking more about fear of life.
Of life in general.
In general.
Fear of medicine.
No.
You trusted the medicine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it's important
even at the
clarify.
start, I didn't have fear of the medicine, but what was happening is fear of life was then coming up, and then because I'm in the medicine,
of course,
I'm feeling
it. Magnified. Yeah. But it's a fear of life.
Yeah.
You were not afraid of actual medicine, of the experience. You were welcoming it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a bigger fear, of course. It's like fear of life is, and then you have fear of death. These are big fears.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, over time, I feel less and less scared of death itself, which is interesting. But anyway, so so what I found throughout the experience was that essentially it was a bit like having a torch shine on issues that I need to look at, and then it gave me extra kind of capacity to be able to think through, reason through, feel through these issues, and
to look deeper inside. In other words,
yeah, to look deeper inside and to, I guess to, yeah, maybe like in some ways move past them, or in other ways strategize for how to deal with certain things. And so, yeah, it was beautiful in the sense that as I looked at more issues and dealt with more issues, and the ceremonies went on, I was able to have more, I would guess, say, shamanic experiences, as opposed to being so much up in my head with.
Yeah, of course, more connection, more heart connection to nature, to universe. That's what you mean by shamanic, you know.
Yeah.
It's still intellectual, but it's not just mental.
Yeah.
It's all like united. It's intellectual, emotional, experiential. It's a whole thing. It's like it's a full connection with existence. You know, that's shamanic.
Yeah.
You know.
And I felt like it was turning little events throughout the day into metaphors. So, like, as an example, to make this more concrete, on the last ceremony, I was exploring and I felt something on my leg. And rather than it being a mosquito, I brushed off a spider. I was like, oh, that was uncomfortable. I looked down, there was a little red bite or whatever. I'm like, a spider bit me. And, you know, I got into my head. I'm like, okay, all right, I think I'm okay, but we'll give it, maybe I should go and speak to Sergey. And then I'm like, no. Don't disturb Sergey. Give it 10 minutes. And so, in effect, what it was doing is I thought about fear a lot. It gave me, I had fear, and then it was an opportunity to rationalize through the fear and
instead of panicking into it.
Exactly.
You know, kind of detach from it. It's important.
Yeah.
By the way, they're all friendly there. They're not, you know, all the spiders. We don't bother them. They don't bother us. You know. They don't. So that's important. The master was teaching you how to deal with fear using a little spider. You know, the fear comes. Okay, I can panic into it, or I can just be conscious of the situation and just detach from that for a second. Like, okay, let's see what's here. You know, it just helps you to deal with it in life, whatever situation in life. You can rationalize through this by being detached from this, by being conscious in the moment. Not to be taken, not to be overwhelmed by fear or any situation in life, but like, okay, whatever the situation, stop for a moment, remember yourself. There is a whole universe behind this, you know. So kind of don't forget the force behind the tree, kind of thing, you know. Like there is a universe, there is life. So fear situation, okay, let's see what's there, you know. It's just helping you to detach from it and learn how to deal with it in a more calm, rational way. It's very helpful. Same with panic, same with anxiety. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter what negative emotion you experience. You can just like, hey, step back, zoom out from the situation. Like, hey, okay, what? I'm having a panic attack or anxiety. It's like the problem with this that people are identified with it. They don't understand that it's them and the emotions that they experience, and they become the emotion. So if you become your panic or your anxiety, like there is no more you, there is no more consciousness there that can do something about it. It's just anxiety, fear, panic. That's it. It's like there is nobody there. That's why when you calm somebody down, you need to remind them of themselves, of their consciousness experiencing certain emotions. That's it. It's just, you know, you breathe through it, you talk through it, you know. There are different ways you can deal with it. But if you identify with it, if you think you are your panic attack, it's very hard to get out of it, because you become it. There is not you who experiencing certain emotions. If you have that separation, if you can maintain the separation in the moment, it doesn't matter what you experience. Fear, anxiety, panic. It's like, okay, I'm experiencing this emotion. Okay, the fear is coming through me. I'll look at it and let it pass. Oh, the anxiety coming. Okay, I'll look at that and let it pass, you know. You have to be conscious in the moment. Maintain your consciousness and seeing what's happening in you. The emotions, the thoughts. When we are not that. We are not our emotions, we are not our thoughts, we are consciousness. We're just a conscious energy, conscious being that is in you, experiencing life through your body and everything that happens. Thoughts, emotions, you know. So it's important. It's vital to remember this.
Yeah, and I think I would say, like, intellectually, prior to this, I would have understood that. But it wasn't really until 2020, COVID, and all the fear mongering and then the manipulation after that, that I realized, okay, this is something I need to get a handle on.
Of fear,
Yeah.
of dealing with fear.
Yeah.
Of course, because fear is it's a best, how would you say, manipulation tool. They scare us into whatever. Like all this fear that was injected, and we don't want to talk about too much because they will ban my video, and they will, it's already happened. So
what I would then add to that is that when we talked about the shamanic aspect, for want of a better phrase, the connection with universe, nature, that kind of thing, which I did experience a little bit of in the ceremonies, it allowed me to identify with some power or whatever, however you want to call it, energy, force, a bit greater than myself. And if I have something greater than myself, then I don't need to look to authority like a government or something like that. Yeah.
Your connection becomes the authority. Your connection to that which is larger. Call it God, call it universe, call it spirit, call it whatever you want, doesn't matter. But that which is larger than you.
Yeah.
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have any connotation, doesn't bring any baggage, any religious baggage,
Right.
nothing. It's just pure connection to higher forces, call it what you want, to something that isn't you but bigger than you, but of which you are a part. It's very important. And this connection is just like, okay, whatever happened in the world doesn't really matter in that sense.
Yeah.
It matters on the social level, of course, but spiritually it doesn't. It's like the storm, okay, I'm just as calm as I'm in my home. Maintain the calmness in the storm. That's the skill. That's one of the things the master can teach you. Like during the COVID time, yeah, I got cut too, like everybody else, for like a few weeks maybe. I don't remember, maybe a few weeks, maybe. Yeah, the first month was difficult. First like week maybe. Then it's just like less. But I got cut like everybody else. I thought it was so real, and that's it, and now we're all going to die, and that was very sad and everything. And then I just relaxed, took some medicine, walked in the mountains, just okay. Relax and look into it differently, and that helped a lot, and I just felt like more me, just normal me again, after like being a little bit agitated, I would say, just normal me. I was of course upset about everything, of course we're completely dependent on tourism, so for 10 months there was no plane in the sky. So, but that came later, and like in the first week I wasn't really thinking about business, it was like health issues, like us kids, so. But it taught us a lot too. But I don't want to go back to this, subject. It's very tempting to go back because it's still it's still so alive in every person. Even people don't talk about this, but it's very alive. I mean, what they did to us, it's unforgivable and unforgettable. But remembering this is painful, so this is why many people just don't want to remember, because it was a very difficult time psychologically.
Yeah.
Especially people living in the cities. We're fine here. We have our mountains, our nature, we sit here, I take medicine, write books, walk with my dog. We didn't experience that much of this aspect.
Right.
As people were like locked in their apartments, jumping through the windows. Sadly, young people, just ended their lives for nothing. I mean, that was very sad. So
I guess like one advantage you had was being able to
nature.
And the medicine too.
And of course, yes.
And so,
yes.
I've met people that will have never touched any medicine, and they will already feel a deep connection to spirit, to something greater than them. And then there are people maybe a bit more like myself who are quite like up in their head, like kind of think science has answers, and are maybe a bit more disconnected. So, yeah, it was very interesting to. It's hard to explain to someone about like these topics and then them to get it unless it's like natural. So for me to be able to take the medicine and to feel it in like a somatic experience is very interesting. And then I end up talking about things that I would have never talked about before.
Yeah, it opens you up in all kinds of ways, you know. So okay, so what else would you like to share with people? How was your stay here? As you progressed through the month.
Yeah. I'm just thinking there was. Yeah, I guess what was. So one last thing in terms of the topics that I was dealing with. So, essentially I was like trying to think about what does masculinity mean to me. I grew up with a father who was great in many ways, but in other ways he didn't embrace archetypical male characteristics. So as a role model, I didn't have that, and so it was great to be able to kind of work synergistically with the medicine, to be able to think through how I want to embody masculinity going forward. And right now I don't have a family, children, but I'm planned to at one point, and it's going to be quite important. So for example, I don't repeat the patterns of shouting, screaming, or not providing, things like that. So I did feel like the Huachuma was a companion in working through that. And that was great. It's fascinating as well because it's like how can something that you take teach you it doesn't maybe sound like logical unless you experience it.
Exactly, that's the whole point of all my books, really, like from different angles, science versus religion and versus spirituality. By spirituality I mean plant-based shamanism, you know. So that's a big subject. I mean, this is like a serious subject. This is like eternal subject. You know, you just touched upon it through your experience, but I was doing this for like years, you know, decades actually. And finally I wrote about this, trying to explain this very point to people, that plant medicine, it's not something you can grasp it with your mind as an outsider to the experience. It doesn't work like this. That's why science will never catch up with us. It's just not possible unless they embrace the experience, a spiritual experience, and recognize the spirit in it. But that's kind of going against the whole paradigm. They have to shift the whole paradigm because the science is materialistic. There is no, it's just all matter for them. There is no spirit in it. So, you know, you need to shift, you need to wake up. I mean, and the medicine does that thing, exactly what you just explained. You cannot grasp from outside. You experience and then you know. And then, okay, I take the medicine and something is shifting in my consciousness, and that something, call it what you want, call it God, call it universe, call it spirit, call it whatever is your choice of words, it doesn't matter. And intelligence, we can agree on that. Like, that's a very neutral word. There is an intelligence that can teach you and heal you at the same time. And that's something you experience in Huachuma. And that's beautiful.
Like if you look on paper and you say, okay, well, it's going to raise serotonin and it's going to maybe increase
that's how
dopamine.
They would say that. That's how they say it. And the
like,
electromagnetic charge in your left brain will connect with neurons from the right brain. You know what I mean? It's like, and you're like, oh, what does it all mean? You know, none of that is actually true. And maybe on the, you know, biochemical level, that's what's happening. But that's only an aspect. The same approach I see in psychiatry when they treat symptoms rather they're trying to address the cause of the problem. That's why none of this works. That's why they drug you with pharmaceuticals. That's all they can do. They can talk to you a little bit, give you some drugs, numb you down, and you go home. That's not healing. That's not healing. That's coping. You know, plant medicine goes deep and shows you the problem and how to fix it. That's healing.
Yeah.
you know. But it's the same approach.
Yeah, it reminds me, so at the moment, I believe scientists are working on creating a patentable psilocybin, which would be the compound you get from mushrooms. But what they want to do is they want to be able to give you the depression resolving effect
Yeah.
without having to do the
The psychedelic experience. It's not going to work.
Yeah,
It's not going to work.
yeah,
I wrote about this in the, I think, maybe Unplugged, or maybe in the third book, The Cactus of Sanity, or maybe in both. I don't remember exactly. That's exactly what you're saying.
yeah,
Exactly what you're saying. It's not going to work because they want to use the compounds to affect changes in you.
mm.
But the problem with it, and that's what I explain in the book, and that's how I see the medicine, that the actual, to affect change on a biochemical level, you have to shift your consciousness. The shift in consciousness, the altered state of consciousness, that is what affects the change. If you remove that, you can, it's like microdosing, you know, it's like, it's not going to change you.
Yeah.
You know, it can just kind of elevate your mood enough so you don't take antidepressants, which is already good, of course, you know. But it's not going to change anything. It's not going to change, because to change you need to crack. You need to crack. You need to hatch, like an egg, like a bird from the egg. You need to hatch. This is the process of awakening. You're this little bird and in the egg, and you know, you drink Huachuma, you hatch. Okay, now I'm a bird. This is what they're trying to remove. They're trying to sanitize this experience. They're trying to keep that bird in the egg.
Yeah, yeah. And just playing with that analogy for a sec. So it's like almost like society has told you you are just an egg.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. You are an egg.
Right. And so
There is no bird inside.
yeah, and so what you need to do to some extent is to be able to tune into a different reality, experience a different reality, to know that you are more than just the
You're
egg.
more than just a shell. You're more. You're a shell. It's actually what you need to crack out. You need to
Interesting. Yeah.
get out of it, and that's what psychedelic experience is. You know, we're talking, you know, more shamanic experience, but psychedelic experience also can serve that. You know, it's like it's part of the shamanic experience. I don't want to go into the subject; it's in the book. It's just
Sure,
in the book. But it's like, yeah, we can it's just as a reference, for the sake of reference, we can call it psychedelic experience. It's fine, because it is. You know, it's just shamanic experience. It's just more to it.
Yeah.
It involves healing, culture, nature. It involves other factors that psychedelic experience does not involve. You know, it's just more inclusive, you know.
Yeah.
But that's exactly right. It's a very interesting analogy. It's like Huachuma in particular can help you to realize that you have a shell, and it's not really you. It's your the consciousness, which is that bird that need to break through this shell, grow and fly, and enjoy life. That's the real analogy of awakening. You know, 99.9% of people just living in an egg, as an egg, without even recognizing that there is something inside of it.
Yeah, that's key.
That's like,
Yeah.
that's the, you know, you don't even recognize. Like, can you imagine that level? People you see on the streets walking, like, that's mostly what you see. It's just a shell that has a name, has a title, has a mortgage, you know.
Yeah.
And most of it is just a shell. But in a latent form, everybody has consciousness. It's just kind of in a latent form. It's sleeping. It's not awakened. That's the whole, you know, the whole movie Matrix is about this. It's just an analogy, like a nicely put visual analogy of awakening. That's what it is. So the medicine can help you to do exactly this. And this is like the big thing. Everything else is just like, yeah, you have to work on your fear. You have to do this. You have to do many things to improve your life. But the main thing is to awaken your consciousness, is to become aware of yourself and realize that you are not an egg, you're a bird that needs to grow, you know, crack the shell and fly. That's really what it is. That's the whole spiritual process. This is actually, like, on a larger scale, that's what life is. You know, that's what life is, to realize who we are in our potential and live up to it and enjoy life consciously, using the body, using the skills, the tools that you have, your talents. This is all good. We need to use it, but it has to be all applicable and to an end. This is the means to an end. What is the end? It has to be your purpose. What is your purpose in life? And then you apply all this to facilitate that, to bring that about, and live happy, fulfilled, connected, spiritually connected life. Having family, doing things you love. You're living life here in three-dimensional world, but you're connected. Without the connection, it's just matrix. It's the lowest level of existence. That's just what you see around. So what the medicine does is this exactly. It's elevating you into higher consciousness, from which you can see yourself and fix things. Whatever needs to be fixed. Okay, you have fears. Okay, let's work on that. This is missing. Okay, let's boost it up. Okay, that has to be changed. This is what self-work is. It's a work on yourself. You work on yourself. You fix things. It's like, okay, you have some issues. Okay, let's realize what it is and let's work on that. What we did the whole month. You were working on yourself.
Yeah. I think maybe what I would mention then would be, so as we're leaving, was it yesterday? Well, yesterday. As we're leaving the last ceremony, I'm looking back at the beautiful spot that we have, the river. And I said to you, I'm realizing that, like, I guess to use an analogy, I brought a very small cup to this experience. And my cup at the moment is very much full. So now is the time after this month to go away to work, to implement things. But I'm very fascinated to know one day in the future when I come back with a slightly bigger cup, what is in store.
There's so much more. It's just the medicine. This is just like a first level of kind of you can say healing awakening, but it's all healing awakening, but at certain levels. The level goes like
Yeah, it's like almost the medicine can only work with me at the level
to where you are. It meets you where you are. It's like it can. That's what I'm trying to explain to people. It's like it's not your case. You're not depressed, But let's just use this because it's just easy to grasp,
Sure.
It's like, some people like when they come and it's like, okay, show me God. I want to see God. I want to feel magic. It's like, okay, that's very easy. It's all here, both God and magic. But you are not receptive to it because you have a big walls that were built around your heart, your mind. You're not receptive to higher, more fine energies. You're too obsessed with your problems. Like, for example, your depression is like the wall is thick. We need to demolish the wall first, in a gentle, beautiful way. But it has to be demolished. Then you see the magic and God and whatever you want to call it, So it's all here, all the time, everywhere. That's the whole point. It's like everywhere. It's where you live. It's not only in Peru. In Peru, we have keys to enter this dimension.
Right.
But spirit is everywhere. The question, if you're connected to it. So if you're connected to it, then you can walk in Wales somewhere and be happy and feel divine connection between you and divine. But for this you need to do certain work. You need to to wake up, to drink enough medicine, to wake up, to work through a lot of things, and the connection will be established. It's actually correct to say re-establish, because when you were a kid you had it. Everybody had it. Kids have that by birth. What happens is like they lose it. We grow up and the matrix
system
sets in, the system, education, and it's like and then you forget who you are, and then you just become who you are not, and you forget who you really are. So the point is to go back to that essence of who you are and recognize that and revive that, is resurrect that inner child that is living in you, but just sleeping, just latent. He's there, but he's not active. So that's what we're trying to do, is to bring that to the surface. Bring that same wonder that you had when you were 3, 5. When you were running under the rain happy. Playing outside, whatever you were doing, you were looking. The world was a beautiful, miraculous place, you know. And it's not the case when you're 30, 40 and you hate the job that you have to go through every day, you know. The sense of miraculous is just not there anymore, you know.
Yeah.
So the idea that's why people become depressed, really. To the most part, that's what I see on a psychological level. It's just disconnection from who they are. Through various, it can be through trauma, through whatever, you know, through difficult life. But that's it, it's disconnection from their essence that caused this depression. And this is why psychiatry cannot deal with it, because that's already what I just told you. This is spiritual stuff. Psychiatry don't do that. They have a barrier. They don't get into spirit. They don't believe in spirit. They see you as an assemblage of organs and meat and bones with physiology and biochemistry. That's it. And some electromagnetic signals. That's who they are. That's who they think everybody is. You know. So shamanic would be realizing who you are in your essence, in your nature. It's a soul level healing. You know, it's this inner child. That's how you heal people. Go back there and revive that and just bring that same wonder and love for life. And through this you understand, like, whoa, you know, I don't know how I was living without that all these years. Well, you weren't. You were existing. You weren't living.
Right.
You're existing. You're just eating food, getting calories to move your legs, go to work, and take some Prozac. That's it. You know, that's not living. I don't call this living.
Yeah.
No, that's existing. Living, it's different. It has a whole different dimension for me, and that's what we do here, and that's what you're saying. You know.
Definitely.
So what you're saying is like you feeling more alive as the result of this work, more you.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Would you describe that?
Yeah, I'd say I feel determined. I actually feel a bit more excited
About life in general?
About life in general, yeah.
That's very beautiful.
Which is to say that we kind of touched on this idea that, like, there's this scientific material world, and there's also you know, spiritual connection.
Yes.
And honestly, that isn't something that I would have talked about or identified with previously. And now I'm like just a little bit more open, a little bit more curious, and a little bit more connected. And so, yeah, I think that is exciting.
Yeah, I completely agree. You know, it's like almost like you were living in like 2-dimensional world. Okay, maybe 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
This material world and
Very much.
3-dimensional, you know. But there is another dimension that you have discovered during this time staying with us.
Just thought of one more thing. So one of the things I was doing throughout the ceremonies, when I felt called to, was with a spare phone recording video communications to friends and family. And yeah, in those moments, I was able to very much connect and communicate from the heart, which is actually not something prior to this I'm very connected to. I would say I'm quite up here, quite kind of
Too much rational.
yes, and it was beautiful. Like, I feel like I've had some really beautiful connections, and I want to be able to keep doing that, keep sharing that with people, because the responses I got were very positive. And so, yeah, I guess I would say I feel more like heart connected, I guess. Yeah.
That's exactly bingo. That's what the medicine does. Opens your heart. That's why people call Huachuma heart medicine. Connects you to your heart, so you can live from that place, speak, feel, you know, and that's a beautiful place to be, and that's a beautiful way to live. If not, you're in your head like everybody else.
Yeah.
Calculations. That's it. You're not feeling. People not feeling life. They're thinking about living. They're not actually living.
And I think, like, say, you know, 1 month ago, some of these conversations, I would have held myself back, and I might have been afraid to say these things. And then having shared messages over this last month, I feel a lot more confident in the sense of, like, I'm going to do me and share me.
Exactly.
And how you want to respond to that I can't control. That's up to you.
It's up to them.
Yeah, and
You know, you're not responsible for how people perceive you.
and especially
You know?
when basically 100% of these communications are genuinely positive things that I'm trying to communicate. And if they don't take it positively,
Well, they're
That's
not
okay.
there, you know, because they're in their heads.
yeah,
It's not the same level. That's why you have to communicate with like-hearted people, you know, like
interesting.
like-hearted people who are also open. If you're talking to people who are in their head, it will be difficult to communicate because they will be calculating through it. They will be thinking about things, not feeling it, you know. And it's not even real thinking anyway. Like we do real thinking in medicine here, contemplation, pondering. You know, it's a conscious, perceptual, visionary thinking.
Right.
You know, when you really can play with concepts and understand things. It's not really the level it's you see in daily life.
Right.
You know, it's just inner chatter, and mostly it's just worry in your head. Mostly it's a voice of worry in your head.
Yeah.
That's what mostly people experiencing all day, every day throughout their lives. So you're trying to connect from a place of love and peace and confidence and fearlessness to a mind who is like full of fear, full of worry, full of anxiety.
Yeah, it's hard to connect.
There's
yeah.
no connection point there. Like, you know, so after this work you will look for other kind of people to be with, people who are more heart-centered, who are more sensitive, who are more contemplative by nature, people who are more thoughtful in that sense, you know. So, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Like it will, your circles of friends might change, because some friends are just might not support that new level of energy that you have experienced, and they will try to pull you down, and that's not really a friend. A friend who is supporting you, who inspiring you, who loves to see change in you, you know. People who want to drag you down to their level because they can relate to you, that's not your friends.
Definitely.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it's just natural. It's just natural process. You don't need to do anything. Just be you, speak your truth, and see who is there to receive it.
Yeah.
Those who are there, these are your friends. And if it's a female, well, that's your partner. You know, that's how you connect, through
Yeah.
heart. It's not through anything else, you know. I mean, unfortunately, many people connect through wallet, but that's like a corrupt way to do that. You know, that's a very much modern world. You know, so not all, but a lot of it happens. So if you find somebody through heart, that's the right connection. You know, that's the true connection. I met with my wife when we were both like, you know, in surviving mode, and that was very beautiful because we went through everything together. You know, we built ourselves and we built our relationship, our marriage through hardships. So we have trust, we have everything. You know, everything that it takes to maintain healthy relationships. You know,
Yeah.
so that's the way how you connect with people, through heart. That's what Native Americans always understood. You know, it's a heart connection that matters. You know. Your intellect is good, but it has to be used right. It has to follow your heart. It has to follow your intuition. It has to support your life, not leading the way. If your head leading the way, it might not lead you to your happiness, you know, to good relationship, to real friends, you know, because it's rational calculation. There is a use for that when it's like properly working. I'm using my head when I write books, when I, you know, do things, you know, that requires intellectual activity. But that's not how. That's not a leading. That's not a guide in my life. It's a heart. It's intuition, heart, you know, and through that I live my life, and then the mind supports that. That's the proper relationship, the connection between the two, you know.
Definitely. And I'd like to think that Because sometimes in the ceremonies, it feels like I'm working, almost like a gym workout or something like that.
A workout.
Yeah. And so
Especially running.
yeah, a little bit of walking around. But I'd like to think maybe that some of that like heart opening, that heart opening workout, will stay with me. You know, like
it's your experience.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. That's a gift from the medicine. Whatever you experience, it's yours. Maintain that. Maintain the connection by simply remembering this. By remembering and by practicing it, practicing what you were taught, the way you were taught, how to be every day. Just be that. And that's how you maintain connection with it. It's very simple. Just remember the experience and be that. Be that. That's it. That's really it. It's that simple.
Right.
The moment it goes up the head, it gets complicated and you lose it. Because the labyrinth of the mind, it's endless. That's why people go to India and spend 20 years in ashrams and nothing happens to them. Following some guru, because it's all in the head. They're imagining awakening. You know, there is no awakening there. You know, awakening is experience. It's not somebody telling you about it. It's not someone's description of following someone that will lead you. It's the actual experience. You can experience that again and again and again, and you just become very familiar, and then it's like, that's what I am. That's just what I am. That's it. It just becomes you. The more medicine, the more you become it, and it becomes you, and that's it. It's just like you.
The integration.
Yeah, you just become one.
Yeah.
So you certainly experience a certain level of spiritual awakening here. You know, it's many levels. It's like many levels, just and probably endless. It's just many levels of awakening, but each one has its gifts, and each one can liberate your mind from ideologies, from beliefs, from kinds of stuff.
From the matrix.
From the matrix, exactly. So
Yeah.
the deeper is the awakening, the more liberation you experience, and the more liberation you experience, the more joy comes with it, because you're free. You feel free. Free mind. It's so beautiful. It's so joyful when you simply believe in the experience of being connected.
Yeah.
There's no ideologies, there's no preaching, it's just me and the universe, and we are here living our lives, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then coming back to the almost like the practical side of the ceremonies, something that's been really beautiful. Didn't expect it, but it's been nice, is that it's become like a little family, a little community.
Oh,
here.
for sure.
Everyone who's come through the doors since I've been here has been a pleasure to be around.
Beautiful people.
And then having these little routines of coming back and closing ceremony, having some food, and then making a fire and sharing. Yeah, that's.
How was the sharing for you?
Sharing was great because on the one hand it's nice to reflect and to remember what I've experienced in a relaxed way, but also it's a great chance to get to know other people and to know what they're going through, and
bonding happens there.
Yeah.
It's like you know them, you know everyone, you share your pain, you share your joy, you share everything, and that's how you learn about other people. And it's very fast. Like in a day you don't feel like you are new here. Like you come, I'm new, I don't know anyone. Like after one ceremony, it's like, I don't even know your name yet, but you're a brother, you're a sister. You know what I mean? You actually feel that way.
Yeah.
You feel that way because you share that deeply sacred space together, soul level experience. You feel this is your community. Like this is my community. My clients, my guests are my community. These are my friends. I don't have friends outside of my work.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I do the ceremony with you, saying goodbye to you, and go drink beer down the road somewhere. It's like, first of all, I don't drink alcohol, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? It's like, this is my community. You are my community. People who share the sacred medicine with me, people who share this sacred space with me. These are my friends. These are my community, because we share eternal, sacred beauty. How would you like to wrap it up? Like, what? Anything you want to say you didn't say? Anything
Yeah,
in your heart?
what I would say is that if my friends haven't experienced this, I think that what I would say is that there is an opportunity to turn a page that they may not know that was there, and they may not know that they wanted, and it's going to be hard to explain what that page is until they turn it.
Yeah.
But if they're open to it,
They can.
these are the tools. This is a great place. You're safe.
Supported.
Supported. And if you have the time and you have the money and you have the interest, I can't think of any many
And
other
courage.
things.
It takes courage to do it.
It does, and it's not. It's going to be some work.
Yeah.
There's going to be some work.
I call it work. We're
Yeah.
working here, but it's a work of love.
Yeah,
It's a labor of love.
yeah,
Truly.
yeah,
But you work on yourself, absolutely. So that's real work on yourself. And that's the whole point. We don't work on other people. Like, you are here for yourself. That's it.
It's true, isn't it? Yeah.
That's it. Everybody for themselves. People here to
That's a
work
great
on
way of
themselves.
describing it. Yeah, yeah. Because when we think of work, we think of I'm doing something for other people, but it's
Work for
it's work in
yourself.
the sense that it's not necessarily like as easy as sitting down scrolling on your phone. That's quite easy. It's going to be more effort than that, but all of the results come back to you. They don't go to someone else.
You get the
Yeah.
reward. You
Yeah.
get the pay.
Yeah.
You get paid. You get paid fully.
Yeah.
It's all yours. You get the full payment of clarity, connection, joy, happiness, strength. The feeling of accomplishment. You get it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so last sentence, whatever. Ouch.
I would say,
man.
yeah. Thanks, Sergey. That was beautiful, and maybe one day meet again.
Okay, well, for sure we are here. You're welcome back. You're a good energy, good guy, good person. I'm glad that my book brought you here. A book you didn't even buy.
Yeah,
That's the power of the book. You didn't even buy it. You just saw it.
good choice on the cover.
That's it. I'm going to Sergey,
It's funny how life
That's
works.
it. Yeah. But I still recommend you read it. I think people saying it's my best book, but although I love all my books, I think they're all important. They're all different. But of course, the latest one is like it's the me today.
It's a combination of many
So
things.
yeah, of course. So I would recommend reading them, especially now after the experience. It will be a very different book. Like these are not just words. Like they will be more meaningful to you because of this experience. So yeah, and good luck from here. And we're in touch. If you need anything, just write me anytime. I will respond. We're in touch. You're leaving, but the connection is staying for as long as you want. So same with the medicine. Same with the medicine. Same with yourself. The environment is going to change, but your connection. It's your connection. If you remember that, you have it. You have it as long as you remember it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the secret. Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool.
Well, good to meet you,
You too, Sergey.
John, and good luck from here.
Appreciate it.